What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and the chef, joined by my co-host today.
Relax 21, what's up? I'm back.
It's good to have you back, and especially after the Knicks had a pretty good, solid win against Miami. The Knicks won 125 to 109. This is now making them 12-2 since OG Anunoby has come to the team. I thought this was a really good game, and I have to say that you were right for this week with the optimism as you had the Knicks 3-0, and the Knicks actually did go 3-0 this week. So shout out to the Knicks for pulling off a nice successful week of wins and continuing the win streak. I believe this was now six in a row for them. So
Yep.
this going back on a winning streak run for them. I thought the scoring was solid for the Knicks. The biggest takeaway for me was that the Knicks played like a team. And I think that's important because when the Knicks play together as a team, they're a lot more successful. So I really liked what I saw all in all. We'll go into the stats, scoring, and who did what. And unfortunately, the Knicks did incur some unfortunate lose news with Julius Randle suffering a shoulder dislocation injury. So right now, still monitoring that, but we'll get on that later. But what did you like about that game? Any takeaways from that game?
I enjoyed the defense.
Yeah,
Defensively, man, they were so in sync.
yeah.
You know, Miami, as much as they, try to they fought back, but the Knicks were able to stay composed. And the more they play, the more they are in sync with one another, don't get rattled, don't get frustrated, don't force shots. It was just the defense for me. I mean, that was top, notch, amongst other things. But, again, just being able to, hold off, withhold any runs Miami was able to, take or make. They just counterpunch.
Yeah,
Again, just being composed. Like I said, they just in sync with one another and just the communication aspect of it. That's one of them. I mean, again, and this was like a win that they like needed, because of what Miami has did, for them, did to them last season. So it was a great win overall.
yeah, I agree. I wanted to see the Knicks take advantage and pull out this win against Miami just because for what did happen last season in the playoffs. So this was a nice solid win. I agree. I thought the defense looked really strong. It seems like the Knicks are definitely gelling together. Guys know where they should be out when they're positioning on the floor. I see the decision making looks a lot better as far as defensive plays, passing, getting in lanes, deflecting passes. So I just see that guys are just making a run and doing what they need to do. I mean, the Knicks started off the first quarter a little slow, and Miami had the lead. Miami scored 30, New York had 27. Second quarter, Miami scored 21, New York had 34. Third quarter, Miami dropped 35, New York 28. And the fourth quarter, the Knicks really pulled away, scored 36, Miami had 23. But overall, I thought the Knicks, even though, especially in the first quarter, Miami had a nice lead against the Knicks, I wasn't worried because the Knicks was still doing what they needed to do on their end. So I thought the scoring was pretty decent and balanced. And, Miami didn't really have. Um, I mean, I guess they did have guys, a few guys who were in double figures. They had what, four, five guys who were. But
Well, actually, they had their core group of guys back. Jaquez came back from a groin injury. Kevin Love was back from an injury. So they did have their complete, for the most part, their roster back. So,
Hawkins and Kevin Love didn't do anything. It was
no, no,
mainly.
no, in general, because well, they are a key part to, their offense.
Mm,
So, I say that because, again, the Knicks are not getting the credit that they deserve. And we don't want, excuses being thrown out of, oh, this person was out and that person was out. the game was played fairly. And if it wasn't, you still got to play the game, regardless who is out. If your star played, we definitely not gonna get no grace now that Randall is down. If anything, we're gonna get more of a beat down. Oh, yeah, they couldn't do it because but I just say that because their key core guys were back. And so the game was played definitely, fair, even though, like you said, they not a factor, but that's why I mentioned that.
Yeah, Hawkins had a nice block here and there. Kevin Love, I know he made his nice football passes that he typically do, which that's something I think the Knicks have to watch out for any team is to allow a player to grab a rebound and throw a long court pass down the other end of the court for an easy basket. But really, the production was from Jimmy Butler, Bam on the boards, and then Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero. Excuse me, not even Terry Rozier. I would say Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, who really
Yeah,
was the leaders for them. And then for the Knicks, OG Anunoby, he had 19 points, 4 assists. Julius Randle finished with 19 points, 9 rebounds. Isaiah Hartenstein was back in this game with 6 boards, 4 points. Jalen Brunson had 32 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Dante DiVincenzo finished with 11 points. Josh Hart scored 14 points. He finished with 5 assists, 9 rebounds. Precious Achua was also a factor in this game on the boards. He had 10 rebounds, 4 points. And Quentin Grimes had a solid game at 12 points, 4 rebounds. And Miles McBride scored 9 points. So I like that I saw good production from Quentin Grimes. I thought that this was a pretty decent game from him and that Precious was able to continue on with that help that he's been giving at that 5 and 4 position that he's been kind of like playing back and forth with. And OG, I think OG's been pretty consistent so far this season with the way he's been playing. And I know some people have been saying that he's they don't know if OG's for real. What do you feel about OG? And do you think that as far as his play goes?
well, he's played 14 games. How real can they want him to be? He's shown what he could do defensively and offensively. Like, what more does the guy have to do? Like, that mean? What more do you want from me? I think he is the real deal. You know, it's it's a shame Toronto didn't utilize him how he's being utilized here. So that's a plus and a bonus for us. I think he's going to continue on that tear. Barn he stays healthy. Yeah, he's going to have an off night. They all do. That's to be expected. He's not going to have a night like that every night. And guess what? It's okay. The goal is to bounce back. Okay, you had a off night. What can I do the next game to make up for that off night? But I think he's the real deal. He's showing us what he's capable of.
But
So
is OG capable of doing this, being consistent as he has been so far on a consistent basis? Because I think that's one of the questions that the Knicks fans and community and sports analysts have with him is that can he keep this up for the remainder of the regular season, and then in the playoffs, can he bring the same intensity and help out on the scoring and the defensively as he has? Is he going to be able to do that in the long
I
run?
think so. But again, he's not gonna do it every night, and it's okay.
Mhm.
He's a player just like everybody else. You know, but he's still going to make a contribution, in some way, whether it's his defense or his offense. And some nights it's going to be both, But if he can make a contribution, defensively, then I'll live with that, and give us 8 points or 10 points, But you get a steal, you get the block. So defensively, I can live with that. And I can live with that with all the players, just as long as they make some type of contribution, you
Yeah,
know, whether it's offense, yeah, you ultimately you would like them to do it on both ends,
right.
but it's not going to be like that every night and every game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that to me, I think OG, to me, his defense is really, really good. he has great like instincts of where passes are going to go. He's able to read where the offense is going to throw the ball, and he's able to get his body to where that pass is going to be. Or if guys have the ball, he's able to like just quickly take his hand and like tap the ball away without doing a whole lot of exertion of energy. But I like his just the basketball IQ that he has on a defensive end. And you know what I noticed in the Miami game? The Knicks got a lot of easy baskets
Yeah.
because the lane was just open. It was poor defense from Miami, but I just thought that it was just so many easy baskets that the Knicks got. And it made me think like, see, this is what I mean with the Knicks. If they play this way, an unselfish basketball, the easy baskets are going to be there. And the lane, because one thing I noticed with the game prior when Sims was in the game, I thought Sims had a pretty decent game. And I know, shout out to Paris Jugger. He was like, oh, give him a few more games. And I said, I am. I'm
Yeah.
not going to harp on him. But I noticed there was a couple of plays where like Randall or Jalen Brunson was driving into the lane and Sims was in the lane, like how Mitchell
Mhm.
Robinson would be in the
Mhm.
lane and causing that defense to be in the paint. And the defense was like in the way. So if Randall was driving or Brunson was driving, they had to like, in other words, Sim wasn't making that screen like how typically Robinson will do or Hartenstein will do, right? But then against today's game, I like the way the lane, the middle, the paint was just so open that guys were able to get an easy dunk or an easy layup. And we had so many of that. And I just, if the Knicks can continue to keep playing like that, they will be very successful. And just playing unselfish ball and guys moving without the ball and not standing around waiting to just take a 3-point shot. So I really got to give them credit for that tonight on this afternoon's game, rather.
Well, again, like the offense, that comes from, again, just being patient, not rushing your shots. You played your style of ball. You didn't play into to Miami's, their style. And that's when they play, up to their style, patience, because it's gonna come. Don't rush your shots.
Right.
And the Knicks, they will be successful, for 9 times out of 10. So and just when you're just attacking, the paint and not settling, you're gonna come out the victor, and that's what the Knicks did. Kudos to who up the film or whatever. It was just a great read on the Knicks' behalf. And shout out to the Knicks. They won, 6 in a row, while Miami lost, their
Yeah,
last six.
I did see
So
that.
you,
Good
you
point.
see what this is, what they can do. And I guess this is sort of like, you want to say like a revenge, but again, all games are revenge because you still want to beat your opponent. No matter if you beat them the last game or whatever, you still want to, ride on that momentum. So I just, they just played like, man, a complete game. Whenever Miami, try to make a run, they were just able to settle, not rush shots, and they were able to, counterpunch Miami's attack.
Yeah, agreed. I just think the team play is just at a different level now. Do you feel like the Knicks are? I know you asked me, how do I feel about the Knicks now? And not just because of the OG trade. And I said, right now, I feel like the Knicks are still in a testing phase, which I still believe that they are. But do you feel like the Knicks have taken things to the next level as with the way the team is constructed now? But do you feel like the Knicks have taken things to the next level and they're on not just the run, but they're proving that they are a good team?
I think so. Like I said, we beaten, some of the, most of the elite teams. Um, Again, those are the teams that you have to beat to be, I guess considered, contenders and so forth. And I think they are. Brunson's, he reminds me like a LeBron, that will, where you push yourself to
Mm-hmm.
like win. I'm gonna take this team and I'm gonna carry it on my back. He doesn't have a cape, but he just has that will
Yeah.
to push himself and his team, and he's making everybody better. I don't see, I don't want to say the selfishness like I saw it before, but it's just sharing the ball, getting more guys involved. And they are improving in a lot of areas. The last two games, that's you kept hopping the turnovers. Well,
Yeah.
this was one game they had 7 turnovers. Denver, they had 8. So if
Mhm.
you can
Right.
improve on that, like when you start improving on just little aspects of your game, your turnovers,
Mhm.
just out rebounding, things like that, it becomes, now the game's in your favor. So it makes you a better team. So when you go down, and get to that home stretch, well, these are the things that you've improved on. So let's keep on improving on,
Mhm.
things like that. So hey, I'm all with them. Yeah, they are, contenders for me. That's what I see. I don't know
Wow.
what more do they have to do. Yeah, they got Boston. They gotta, beat. Um, but do that not make them contenders if they don't beat Boston? Boston could run into a wall, you know? So
I think
it's
Boston
always
can run into a wall. I agree. But for me, I think the Knicks have to be able to, like I alluded to in the last episode, every year you play against teams and you have this series, right? So you're going to play at teams at least 4 times throughout the season. And I think it's important that the Knicks establish not only beating a team once and a team beat the Knicks 3 times, just as an example. So with the case like with Boston, sure, it was mainly we played them a lot mainly at the beginning of the season where the Knicks was off to a rough start. But I
yeah.
think against any team, whether it's Boston, it's Denver, it's Milwaukee, it's Philly, it's OKC, when we play Utah again, and you and I will be at that game on Tuesday, I think it's like you gotta beat those teams. You may lose to them once, but it can't be you losing to them 2, 3 times throughout the season. You gotta put your foot down and make your mark against each team when you play them that series throughout the season. And you can't allow to have multiple losses against that same team. I don't care even if it's Atlanta. Like you got to put those teams away and not just teams like Washington and Charlotte, and Detroit, teams like that who you could beat. You like you say, don't sleep on any team, but I think it's that. But I think part of the success also right now with the Knicks is that there's trust. So Brunson trusts making the passes to other guys because he feels confident that Grimes, Deuce, these guys going to knock down the shot. Same thing with Randall. There's that trust factor where they're more willing to make that pass to the supporting castmates on the team because they know those guys are going to knock down those shots or, you know, just making the right pass. And it's nice to see other guys playing that unselfish ball and making the right pass and not just where you see Hartenstein making the passes and looking for guys. So it's nice to see guys making it. And even with Randall, I don't like the way he makes those passes in the air, but he seems to be playing a lot more poised and under control.
Oh,
And his
yeah.
decision making is a lot better in what he's doing. And the Knicks are not allowing other teams to dictate how they play. They're playing their style of ball and not allowing, because even like I was saying with Miami in the first quarter, they had a lead on us. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't feel like worried watching it because the Knicks was still doing what they had to do. I said the Knicks are going to crawl back into this. They were just finding their footing in that first quarter, But nonetheless, the Knicks really, and even at one point when Miami had got it close around 86 or 86 88, the Knicks in that fourth quarter, they just ran away with that lead and put the foot on the gas pedal and kept going. So I think that there's a trust factor happening and guys are trusting each other on the floor. Guys are talking to each other. It seems like the Knicks are in their right spots to knock down the shots they need to knock down. But I think for me, I'm still looking at how this second half of the season goes. I want it to be a successful season. I alluded in the beginning of the season how it's important that the Knicks have good standings within the Eastern Conference. So this way, when they get to the postseason, they're not, at least that first round, you can get past that one, that second round. But either way, the Knicks, it's important that they don't slide anywhere really
Yeah,
past four, you know?
yeah. hmm Well, right now they stand at what, fifth? Um, you know, but
I
they
think
they can easily crawl up to four. We still got, there's some ball left to be played, just as long as they don't fall, I feel, below, that fifth seed. And, it kind of, gets you, kind of, I don't know, not worry. But then again, if they do, I feel, if we do run up across Boston, or not Boston, excuse me, Sixers and the Bucks, I think, that the Knicks, those are two teams that they can, definitely, advance. Boston, like I said, they have to, I definitely, will, interested when they play Boston again, when they meet up with them and see how they're gonna respond to Boston. But as far as Philly and the Bucks, I feel very confident in them, advancing past those teams. I'm kind of, on the fence with Boston, but
right.
again, it's doable. They gotta their starting five is like, like, awesome, but their
Yeah,
bench. But yeah, hey, the Knicks are playing great, so they could take that game at any moment. Um, and I want to mention, I heart, I'm happy, Tibbs didn't, overplay him. He seems like he was on limited minutes, but it
mhm,
makes you wonder, is it because the ankle or what? So, that's sort of, like a question mark. Well, I'm quite sure he's 100%, or, otherwise he wouldn't have, came back. But it's just, kind of like, or is it for cautionary measures, or what? Like, because he played what, 16 minutes?
yeah.
So it makes you wonder, like, I hope it's nothing more, you know, and then they
I think
just
it's
playing
that
with caution.
I think it's that coming back from an injury, and like I said, Mitch is gonna come back like that. He's not gonna
Yeah.
be able to give 100% because as an individual, you're worried about tweaking that injury and it happening again because now you're in a real time live game versus when you're just practicing with coaches and practice or with your teammates. Yeah, they have you, you're running up and down the floor, you're making your moves, but it's not the same like a real time live game where all the action is happening and you gotta hustle and bustle up and down the court. And with him, I don't think it's more so the conditioning. I just think that he's being mindful of not hurting himself um throughout the game. You know what I mean? So I think we'll have to watch and see how he does against Charlotte. And
Yeah.
then that way you can kind of see in like next week's game and see how he plays. But I mean, I'm sure Tibbs want him to be able to go out there and do what he's doing. And iHeart's gonna get back to that, but I think Precious has done a good job being a nice backup. So I don't know. I think that that's something that, has to be monitored and watched out for. As far as stats for tonight's game, field goal percentages, the Knicks was at 51%, Miami was at 46. Three-pointers, the Knicks was at 51% as well, Miami was at 37. Free throws, the Knicks didn't really shoot their free throws well. They were
They
18 for
struggle.
26 at 69%, and Miami was 13 for 16 at 81%. Total rebounds, Knicks finished with 46, Miami 38. Offensive rebounds, the Knicks had 11, Miami 8. And defensive rebounds, the Knicks had 35, Miami 30. Both teams finished really closely with assists, with New York at 25, Miami at 26. Miami finished with 5 blocks, New York had 3. Both teams finished with 6 steals. Turnovers, Miami had 8, and the Knicks had 7, which is excellent. And points in the paint, the Knicks had 52 and Miami had 50. So I thought, and also the fouls, the Knicks kept the fouls to a minimum for the game.
That's what I
So
was going to mention. Yeah. No
I
one was
thought
in
that
foul
was a,
trouble.
yeah, exactly. I thought that, and that's important too, especially because the Knicks have to learn how to do the opposite and get other teams in foul trouble and
Yeah.
drive to the basket and, get teams in foul trouble, especially if it's their like top player. But I think, what do you think it's going to take to beat those teams like Boston and those better teams? Is it going to take a combination of great shooting and floor spacing and play, or is it going to take and defense, or is it just going to be one or the other?
It's a combination of all of them, because defensively, if you can hold your team, like case in point, they held Denver to 84 points. You know, that's saying a lot for them. They're starting to, minimize their turnovers, because teams tend to capitalize off of those turnovers. So it's the little things that they're doing, to make them a better team.
Right.
But defensively, if they could just, keep their foot down and, on teams, that's a plus for them. Again, turnovers. And, in the beginning, they couldn't guard that perimeter, but they sort of, they tightened that up, and that's where the defense came in. And just communicating, patience and not settling and just not just chucking up shots, because the old Knicks, they were just chucking up them threes and they were horrible at one point. Um, so I think that they are building off of, what they got going, and they are getting better in my, estimation. They're getting better, as the team, progress, and it's a lot of communicating. You could just see, when Debo, when he hits a shot and then somebody Miami called the timeout, you could just see him like, I don't know, I guess he's telling Brunson, about a spot or whatever. So again,
Mhm.
it's the communication aspect of it. Um, and overall, it's like everybody knows their role. Nobody's not doing too much.
Mhm.
Grimes seems, seem to pick it up. Maybe is it because his name is out there. But overall, they're in sync for the most part, and that's how I see it.
Yeah. I think it for sure it's going to be the combination of both, especially on the defensive end, because if your offense is hot, guys are knocking down shots for the Knicks. At the same time, you are going to have to play at the other end and not allow teams to come back into it, or how this past week you had players scoring 73 points and 62 points in a game. That can happen. Atlanta didn't play any defense against what's his name?
Doncic, yeah,
Yeah. Luca was just making layups the whole game.
yeah.
I'm like, where was the defense? There was no like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about that can't happen with the Knicks. That you can't have those defensive collapses and just the lack of effort. That can't happen. But I think it's going to take a conscious effort of both. And just the Knicks, take it game by game, as Tibbs like to say. They didn't play choppy tonight. You know,
Yeah, they were.
it was a
Yeah,
choppy game, as he likes to call it. But and then in some unfortunate news, Julius Randle did suffer a dislocated shoulder. Woj reported that the X-rays didn't show much damage to the shoulder, but Randall will undergo an MRI. He's supposed to be doing it tonight, this evening. It happened because Randall collided with Jaime Jaquez as he was trying to basically going for a layup, and then he fell to the floor. And Randall, he they said he was in like serious pain because of it. So I'm not sure what this means for the Knicks right now, because I'm sure they're waiting for the MRIs. I know Thibodeau did say you're concerned anytime somebody gets hurt. He said you hope for the best. If he's out, next guy gets in there and get it done. He's very big on next man up,
next
throwing it
man up.
right. So my only thing is, who's the next man up? Because OG's already starting. So who's the next
You
person
know,
that?
they can, iHeart Precious can come in at the four. They and that's just it. The Knicks, they have a lot of guys that can, come in and fill in that gap. Josh Hawk, he could, I don't particularly like him, but in that position when he comes in behind Randall, but they have players. Sims could come in behind iHeart, and then, Precious he steps in for Randall, so they could play with that rotation. They got a few guys that yeah, they still missing some key components. Do they need to press the panic button and bring somebody in? I mean, I don't, I don't think so. They got a few guys that, know their role and know what they need to do to get it done. They just have to just continue to play, as one and team ball.
So you feel confident in someone from the Knicks bench coming in, and you feel like they'll be able to give you the production that Randall was given, or that replacement, because Randall, you're getting 17 plus points a game, plus rebounding. Can Josh Hart or Precious be able to give you that until he's comes back? We don't know how long that's going to be. Or do you feel like with the trade deadline coming up, because I kept saying this is the problem. If Randall or Brunson gets hurt, there's no solid backups for their position.
Well, with Randall, he can shuffle that rotation. There's some guys he that can step in. Brunson, I'm not, confident in your Deuce could come in, but he's not solid. He's no
Yeah.
Brunson by no stretch of the imagination. But for Randall, yeah, I feel that he can, Tibbs can shuffle that rotation and have guys fill in. Yeah, they're not going to give us. Oh, who knows? Precious May. Precious May give us 20 points one night. And 8 rebounds, and then vice versa. They may give us 12 rebounds or whatever. He may. Um, and like I said, Sims could come in behind our iHeart. Again, like Paris, he has to play so he can get better. But yeah, I'm confident in those guys filling that role for Randall.
So you think Tibbs should do um like rotate between Josh Hart and Precious to come in for Randall's role, and then you have Sims clearly, who's the next backup, who would have to get those playing those minutes behind Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, and well, we've seen it before where it was Precious, OG, Brunson, um, who else? It was I forgot that rotation that he had in. So he can shuffle it I think when iHeart went down. So
Mhm.
he has enough guys in there where he can shuffle and fill that void. So yeah.
Are you concerned with Randall having this injury?
Long as it's a dislocated, if it's anything serious, yes, because now you're talking surgery, of course. But if it's just put it in a sling and just let it heal, I'm fine with that. And then he definitely know he can, and then the All Stars coming up, so this can give him, a chance to definitely heal, and you come back, and you could be, 100%. So thank goodness it didn't, happen, I guess, later. You never want to see a player go down and get hurt, but timing is everything, and is utmost and is paramount. So this gives him a chance to, if it's nothing greater than just a dislocated shoulder, you could live with that. And like Tiff said, it's next man up. But as long as it's just that and nothing serious and don't require going under the knife, then you can live with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little I don't know. I guess I'm waiting to see what's the final outcome for Randall.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like I don't want to get concerned just yet, but I think that Randall having his flaws, that some of them which I don't like, at the end of the day, he's a huge factor for the team. And you need him out on the floor, because when he's out on the floor, the Knicks are a lot more successful. So that's why I'm wondering, can the Knicks continue to be successful if Randall has to miss a couple of games? They proved they was able to do that without a true center, with both Hartenstein and Mitch out, and they were able to continue to keep winning games, right? I think it's also important that the Knicks continue to protect their home court, as they do have a better record at home than they do on the road. But I'm not going to jump to conclusions yet and get worried about Randle being out and have a huge high level of concern just yet. But just, I don't know. I wonder, like, do you even think the Knicks are going to go after Murray or be able to get him? Because I feel like we've been talking how the Knicks are like playing chess. They're going to wait to the very last minute. I don't think that I think the Knicks are going to do what you said and just get somebody for the low and get them for cheap. And then when the offseason comes, make a bigger move, a bigger trade for like somebody better, whatever, whatever. But do you think the Knicks are still going to look to maybe package off Grimes and put Fournier together with that and then get somebody in? Because they still, to me, need at least one or two more guys.
Well, as far as Murray, a land that, last I read, talks has been stalled because Miami, let's face it, they want a lot for him. They gave up a lot to get him, so I guess they're trying to, look for their, investment back, and rightfully so. It's a business. These players are an investment. So with him, the talks have been stalled. Um, there are a lot of other guys that can fill that void. Yeah, they're not a Murray, but there's also a lot of guys that that names have been thrown out there that can help, and the Knicks to make a contribution. Um, would you like Murray? Yeah, but there's other guys that are just as capable and know once they put on that uniform, know what they need to do. Um, you know, do they package up Grimes? They may have to, or will they ride with what they have? Now that's a a tough decision for them.
Mhm.
But me personally, I would definitely wait for the off season. See what you can get out there. Like you said, coupon shopping and Knicks up, the toys for that. But they do need that key piece and see what you can get, with what you have. I certainly wouldn't, sign anybody out of desperation.
Yeah.
It needs to be done strategically on the Knicks part.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think that the Knicks should be desperate, but I think the Knicks should get somebody in for shooting purposes. Even if you can't obtain Murray, I think that the Knicks need a shooter out on the floor, and you need technically somebody who can handle the ball.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if Brunson has to miss a few games, or just to give him a breather? Right now, he has to continue to orchestrate and run the floor, making the right passes and bringing the ball up the court. But it would be nice to me if we had a second backup to that point guard position. But I also think, in general, for the bench unit, the Knicks need another solid shooter. They don't really have anybody. If you look at who comes in off the bench, and the thing is that I want to put Grimes in that category, but Grimes could be streaky. So the last two games he did really well. I don't know. Maybe he could be turning a new leaf in the midway of the season and doing well. I don't know. So I'm not really sure like if it's not enough. I am sure that's not enough.
Not
So
definitely think, yeah, not definitely think they're gonna get someone. We just don't know who. And again, that's the element of surprise with the league. If we put it out there, then guess what? Somebody else is gonna snatch him up. So it's all a wait and see for the fans for the most part. And I think they will, make that move. They're just, again, they're moving strategically and just figuring out who will be the best fit and who can help us, down the stretch. You know, like you hear Burke's name because he knows the system and he played before. Will he be a great guy? Yes. So but I think they're gonna definitely, bring somebody in who we don't know. Salute.
but you're saying that the Knicks shouldn't make a move. You just said that the Knicks should wait. So you're confident with the way this roster is constructed to finish out the rest of the season strong and then be ready to go to the next level, which is the playoffs, because that's where teams turn it up.
No, no, I don't. I'm not. I can't say I'm confident, but if someone else is it becomes available that can help the Knicks, you know, down the stretch, yeah, I think they should pull that trigger and make some trades, with some of their bench players. Um, because I'm not confident they can, you know, get past. I mean, even in Miami, you know, yeah, they won today, but Butler's the one of those type of plays where he he dials it up another level.
Hmm.
He's been playing it safe, now, but he's like a player like a Brunson that will put the team on his back and carry them over.
Exactly.
And you know, I would, I like Grimes because he's definitely seems to have stepped up. You know, and if he could just be consistent, you could live with that. But with the inconsistencies, where the concern comes from, you
Hmm.
know,
And
just
that's
not,
my point. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He's too streaky for me. Like, salute Joe Curry. He said Grimes is too good to be traded for Murray, and we need a big since our injuries. I don't know about that. I think Murray is a better player than Grimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't think he's too good to be traded. I think Grimes, I wonder if Grimes fits under Tibbs' system because I think Grimes on another team could be really good, but it makes you wonder if he's good under Tibbs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Tibbs' system and being with the New York Knicks, because again, he's not in the starting lineup, so we can't use that as an excuse anymore. He's coming off the bench. But I don't know if Tibbs' system works for Grimes, or is Tibbs utilizing Grimes to his best of his capabilities and what he can do.
See, now the drawback with that is that what makes Tibbs' system work for Murray if you were to bring him in? Yeah, Murray's a different
Well,
type of
that's the question.
player.
That's a huge question mark about that. I agree.
All
Because it's how is Tibbs going to utilize Murray if the Knicks did get him? Is he going to allow Murray just to be the shooter, or can Murray also handle bringing up the ball at
yeah.
times? So it does fall on Tibbs, and we know Tibbs is stuck in his old school coaching style ways, and I agree with that. But I think some guys, because of that experience, case in point, like Dante DiVincenzo, he's able to be consistent for us and give you that 15 to 20 and knock down those shots. I think it's because more of the game experience, the veteran experience. Whereas Grimes, this is only his third year. And I think that one, Grimes has to still work on his shot because he shoots the ball entirely too fast. And two, I think that confidence has to build up with Grimes, so that way when he catches that ball and get it, he's ready to shoot it at whatever spot, and he could shoot it with
Mhm.
confidence, knowing damn well he's going to make it. So I just think, I think it's a 50-50. I think part of it is Grimes as the player, and the other part of it, I believe, is truly Tibbs, and that Tibbs just doesn't utilize Grimes in a lot of ways on the floor to where Grimes should be at. Defensively, I like Grimes a lot, but I don't know if Grimes is a fit for Tibbs' system and his style of coaching under the Knicks. But I think if he went to another team, case in point, if he was on like a Miami, I think Spoelstra would be utilizing Grimes in a different way, where you would see Grimes get catch and shoot. A 3-and-D guy, more utilized in that way versus on the Knicks, he's not utilized like that. So yeah, I don't know. Joe said we have McBride for defense and Flynn for shooting. We're fine with the backup point guards. Actually, just got to put trust in them. Well, that's up to Tibbs to put trust in them.
Yeah, because if you don't Tibbs trust you, guess what? You're
You're
gonna
not
be playing.
you're not getting over. And if Tibbs don't trust you, he not playing you like that.
Yeah.
He was giving McBride sympathy minutes, and I think because
Well,
McBride was going from G League to the Knicks, G League to the Knicks, G League to the Knicks. So he was playing both. But I think that there was something that clearly they saw in McBride's in practices that made Tibbs be like, I'm gonna give this guy a couple of minutes to play. Now Flynn doesn't get a lot of burn. Tibbs doesn't really play him like that. We've only seen him play. What was that game that we played and Flynn played because Brunson was out? I forgot who we played. I think it was Memphis. And he played against Memphis and he started in that game. And he actually did really well, but then he got in foul trouble.
Oh
But
yeah.
I ask you, Joe Curry, are you confident with McBride bringing up that ball, not stopping his dribble, and not getting that ball stolen if he's getting full court defense if you in the playoffs? And not only that, McBride can't close out a game like Brunson can. Sometimes you need the ball in that right player's hand who can be able to
Yes,
close out the game and get you that clutch basket
you
to
need
get
that
that
post.
W. Right.
Mhm.
Salute Cotton Candy. I like that name. Hey, ladies, I'm so
Salute.
proud of my Knicks tonight. Word. Yeah, same. I'm proud of the Knicks overall. I know I could be very hard and critique. My critiques could be very tough of the Knicks, but it's because I see the potential. It's like how you were saying with Randall. It's like don't make the game harder for yourself. And I think now they're playing less harder. They're playing smarter.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? They're not making the game so hard and tough and just the playmaking and guys knowing their role and getting to where they need to be on the floor and just knocking down shots and the defense is there. Guys are working together on the defense. So I think it's just that combination of like everything is gelling right. And remember, I was saying before a few episodes ago, there were a lot of loopholes within the Knicks. I said they gotta tighten up those little loopholes. And now I feel like the
Mhm.
Knicks are starting to come together and gel. And I love the Knicks being underdogs because
Exactly.
they have something to prove because the Knicks are not respected within the league. They're not respected on ESPN. They're not respected on wherever you want to go, Sports Center. They're not because the Knicks are taken as a joke. And I was saying to you, I think the Knicks are not going to be taken seriously until they prove A, they have a solid regular season, but more importantly, they're known as a team who makes the playoffs every season.
And there's a few guys that, do root for the Knicks, Perk, Will Bond, Shaq, so there are,
Mhm.
and then, of course, now you're going to have the naysayers. There's always going to be someone that, don't believe in the Knicks and what they can do, this and that, but it's not up to them. The Knicks, it's the guys who are on that floor. That's who they trust, and that's who they are riding with, not
Right.
the naysayers. So, because you're gonna always have those. You're gonna always be the underdog for whatever reason. I get it. Yeah, the Knicks haven't won anything, but why are you judging them for the past? There's a lot of teams that haven't won anything. You
Right.
know, these are the new Knicks, and you got to judge them for what they are doing now and what they've accomplished. Yeah, a lot of people say, well, they haven't won anything. There's a lot that they've done, thus far.
Agreed.
Over 500, they have been able to maintain, that over 500 where they haven't fallen, below, a
Mhm.
certain, threshold, and they are continuing to win. So I think that says a lot for that team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that the Knicks are that team that are catching people's attention and they're the team to watch because I think that those who are betters, they are getting surprised when the Knicks are beating these teams. And, I think for me, while I'm embracing the good, I'm still like, I'm still watching because I don't want to get too hyped. Because I feel like when I do that, I jinx it. So I'm gonna keep at this same mellow tone as I always am because I'm basking in the joy right now that's happening, but I still think because we're only midway through the season. If the Knicks continue to improve, which I definitely see them doing, um, one, it's gonna feel good to see them have a successful season, and two, it's gonna see them just getting to the playoffs. But my biggest thing with them is not just getting to the playoffs in the first round. Hell, I want them to get past the second round because you've proven that you
Yes,
can
come
get
on,
there
yeah.
already. So, but I think people are going to start to respect the Knicks. Grimes is putting up points off the bench though, not consistently. He did it the last two games. So let's watch next week's games and see how Grimes do. Because when we started at the beginning of the season with the podcast episodes, I remember I said I'm watching Grimes minutes because I feel like DiVincenzo is going to take his minutes. And this was way before Grimes made that complaint of out of
Yeah.
frustration. Because Grimes, like most of the Knicks, started off on a rough patch, but Grimes he was spotty. He had one good game where he had 17, and then he had another game where the next 2, 3 games he was quiet. He may gave you 4.6 if you were lucky. So I think with Grimes, it's the inconsistencies with him. And truthfully, the Knicks don't need any more players who are going to be very inconsistent. We need guys who's going to be able to show up every game and come correct and, know their role and do what they need to do. You just can't afford that. If we're moving into a direction of being contenders and championship, you got to show up. So I think that's my biggest thing with Grimes is that, yeah, he's putting up points off the bench, but it's not on a consistent game basis. So again, we'll see when the Knicks play Charlotte how he does and the following games after that. Salute Boulevard 73. Foot to ass win. Agreed. Agreed. To die for. Salute. Salute, salute, salute.
Salute to die for.
He's getting that confidence now. I hope so. I really hope so. I hope this is a turning point for him. Like maybe he will start going on a run. Maybe this is what we're going to see from him. I really, truly hope so. To die for said Flynn is situational. Yeah, he is. Because Deuce is going to get the minutes over Flynn.
Because they know what he can do. They
Right,
don't know what Flynn could do. Flynn just was
right,
packaged over, to be honest with you. So
right.
of course Deuce is gonna get those minutes over Flynn.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what a Negro one was saying. Flynn is good, but Tibbs is loyal to Deuce. Salute a Negro one. Yeah, I just feel like salute Deraz. Salute.
Salute.
Um, I just wonder, like, my biggest thing is I'm curious to see what the Knicks do as far as trades for the February trades, because I think that we do need, even if the Knicks can't get Murray, I think a Tyus Jones would be an asset to the team. I think a Malcolm Brogdon would be a asset to the team. You need somebody who can come in and give us some kind of shooting. Hell, I'm still even big on the Knicks bringing in DeRozan. I think he can be a clutch player who can give you those key points as that um he's the mid jumper clutch kind of guy that the Knicks could utilize. So I think that there's a couple of guys like you were saying earlier who, again, if you can't get Murray, I think they still need some kind of shooting. Because if you have a night where Randle and Brunson's off, DiVincenzo's off, or the combination of one or two of those guys, who else do the Knicks have that you're confident is going to knock down shots and keep them in the game?
Well, my concern right now is Randall's injury because, you know, although the trade deadline is coming up, but you know, they got one game that's away, which is Charlotte, and then now they're on a 6 game homestand. You know, so my concern is, and I know they have guys that can fill that, he can shuffle that rotation, but it's just the fact that, his, just hoping his injury is no more than what it is, or,
Mhm.
what we're hoping that is not, you know. So that's where my concern is, with where they stand at as far as, Randall. Yeah, like I said, they got guys that they could, shuffle in, but that's my main concern going forward.
Yeah, and then my concern, piggybacking off of that, is if the injury is worse than what it is and Randall has to miss an extensive amount of time, can Josh Hart and Precious come in and carry that load and give you the production, whether Tibbs is piggybacking, rotating between the two? And is that good enough? You know, are those two guys rotating back and forth? However, Tibbs want to distribute those minutes for them to fill in for Randall. Is that good enough? You know, because now the load falls on mainly Brunson, falls on DiVincenzo has to give you a little bit more. You know, now OG and Anobi has to continue to give you a little bit more. But is that going to carry the Knicks over game after game to continue to get those wins that they need? And that's my concern. And that's why part of the reason why, and this is why I was saying, I think the Knicks need to bring another one or two players in because that was my point. I said, God forbid Randall or Brunson gets hurt.
Yeah,
Who is the backup?
yeah, you kept saying
There's no
that.
backups. There's no, and I was saying this even when Mitch was healthy. I said, yeah, we have Hartenstein, but who's the? I mean, yeah, you brought in Precious, but who are the backups? The Knicks. I don't know the way this team is constructed outside of the starting five, minus a few guys on the bench. There's really no true backups for a lot of these positions on the team, like solid backups that can come in and you feel comfortable. Randall could sit down for a nice couple of minutes. You know, whoever else could sit down and take a breather and get a break. They don't have that.
Well, I like what Sims did. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's just a I can't even say a sample size. It's like a minute what he did with Denver.
Yeah, I
Both
agree.
him and Precious. So they just gotta just capitalize off of that and just continue on that and what they did with Denver. So I mean, I think that they can hold their own and they like Tibbs always said, next man up. They're gonna have to learn.
Yeah,
This is the big league. This is not college. This is not your AAU. So you gotta go out there and bang with the big guys. So I think that put those guys in.
yeah, I agree. I thought Sims did a great job on defensively on the Joker. He front faced him a lot, and he dished the strength that Sims has because he's so strong. He was able to play really good defense on them. So I really liked what I saw, and I'm down to give Sims, um be patient with him and allow him to get the time because this is the time before we get to the postseason. I want to see him to be able to go in and do what he needs to do. Salute Corey Lee. He said, peace and salute, ladies. The 718 boys are in the building to help and support these dope ladies. So hit the like button. You heard him. And hit that subscribe button. He ain't never told a lie. Salute, 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 salute. Shout out to the 718 boys. Boulevard 73. Hit that like button. Exactly. Salute.
Salute. Wait, somebody said,
Placings don't want our guards to also get hurt. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I said. Play Sims. You know,
He said, Rob, still going through puberty.
could
uh,
be.
yeah. I do like Precious though too.
What's it?
Chewbacca looks like he wants the job. The chat is hilarious. I swear I love the chat. Um, yeah, I just I again we're monitoring with Randall. I'm looking for updates. That update that I did give on Randall, that was like literally like 5 minutes before we went on. So that was like the soonest, you know, latest update rather that I had got on Randall's his injury. So we'll see what happens with our boy Randall, the Randall handle. Um
The red handle.
yeah, the Randall handle. Oh, okay. So Ian Begley, shout out to Ian Begley. He gave an update. He said league sources confirmed that there was nothing of significance found on the X-ray of Julius Randle right shoulder. As Woj said, that's left people cautiously optimistic that Randle avoided a significant injury, but they won't know anything definitive until the results of the MRI. So I guess he still didn't get that MRI yet. But so far they're saying it's not major, but we'll see.
Well,
We'll see.
no news is good news. So as
Right.
they
But you
said,
know the Knicks like to keep things under wraps. they'll try to downplay an injury and act like nothing's wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because we've seen what they did with Mitch. Yeah, okay.
Right, exactly. They made
They
it seem
do.
like
They
nothing was
do.
wrong. So next week, the Knicks have a start off Monday with the Monday and Tuesday with back to backs. Monday, the Knicks play Charlotte. The Knicks have been able to sustain and beat Charlotte Hornets. I don't see why that should change. The Knicks should definitely get a W against Charlotte on Monday. That's a 7 p.m. game. The Knicks play on Tuesday at home. They play the Utah Jazz. Both Diva Locks and I will be at that game on Tuesday, so we're looking forward to going. And I do want to see the Knicks beat the Jazz because I truly thought the Knicks were going to beat the Jazz when we were on the road. And I know that was when the Knicks were in that major road trip, that tough road trip that they had going on. And some people blame the altitude and the travel, but no excuses nonetheless. I want to see the Knicks handle business and get the job done. And then Thursday, the Knicks play again. They play Indiana. So that's going to be an interesting game to say the least. But I see the Knicks being able to take care of business as well. And then the Knicks play again on Saturday against the Lakers. So the Knicks have 4 games coming up this week. Your predictions for this week?
Again, I'm going 4-0. Indiana, yeah, their offense is on point and top tier, but they got horrible defense. But they did beat the Knicks the last game. I'm still rocking with my Knicks and go 4-0.
I love the optimism, Diva Locks. I really do. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1.
Ooh.
But if they listen, I love that you were right and you proved me right. But I'm gonna definitely go 3-1. I would love to see them win when we're at the game. I mean, I think there's nothing better. But I'm being optimistic and keeping the positive vibes and the energy going. But I'm gonna go 3-1 for the Knicks this upcoming week. And yeah, I definitely want to see. Listen, I want to see the Knicks win all of these this week. But for sure, and I think there's a few teams who I want to see the Knicks get their revenge on. Utah, um, and then February 8th we play Dallas. I want to see the Knicks take that game.
Yeah, and I
So
think I don't know if it's this Thursday. It has to be. I think the reserves are going to be selected. I mean, we know Brunson is going to be a reserve, which should have been a starter, but we not, And thanks to y'all, I don't know who man's is that Stephen A. that didn't vote. He gets on my nerve. He was on, doing the post the pregame. He voted Halliburton and Donovan because he did the starting and then the shooting. Um, so he didn't vote Brunson in for whatever reason as a starter, but I definitely know that he's gonna be a reserve. If not, it's gonna be an uproar. So I think the reserve
yeah,
to be named this Thursday.
yeah, I think I know people in the chat were saying the last episode that shout out to Coach Sar. He was saying that he doesn't vote. And I was saying how people were telling us that in one of our previous episodes, we were talking about the all-star voting. And I was asking you, like, why don't New Yorkers vote or fans vote? Especially, I'm going to say New Yorkers, because this is the market that the Knicks are in. And one of the things, the feedback that I saw him and a few people were saying was that a lot of Knicks fans are like older and they're not the younger generation. And the older generation are not really down to get online and place a vote. You got to put
Yeah,
your email in or go on an app and vote. And I get that, but I just feel like it doesn't matter. Like what age generation demographic you're in, you should still be able to vote. Like the same way y'all go and purchase those tickets to go to the next game, those expensive tickets, you can go on and place a vote because it's really 1, 2, 3. Once you put in your email that first time, it's simple. But I do understand where he was coming from.
yeah,
He said,
yeah.
and then I heard someone call in on ESPN radio, and the guy was saying that he's a diehard Knicks fan, but he said, I think part of the reason why people didn't vote for Brunson is because he's not like a Trey Young and style of play, like the flashiness of shooting those far 3-point shooters and the crazy, but between the balls going between the handles and the crazy. And I'm like, if anything, he should have been voted in. He may not be shooting a far 3-pointer from midway, halfway of the court, but his footwork is there. His footwork is actually immaculate. His shoulder movements are immaculate. His hesitation that he does, everything is on point in A1. So I don't know why wouldn't people vote for Brunson into the All-Star, which is beyond me. So I don't know. I think it's like a New York thing. New Yorkers are kind of weird in that regard where they don't really vote. They'll ride hard for the Knicks with the Knicks winning and the Knicks making a playoff season because it was a different energy when the Knicks made the playoffs last year in New York. But I just think that part of it is the lack of respect.
Yeah, it was. But it's a lot of factors of why a person don't get voted a starter. Again, it's a popularity contest. Marketability. A player that's market. Internationally, worldwide. So a lot of factors playing. But I'm just happy he's made the deserve of. Sure, would have loved to have been a starter because he's certainly more deserving than Dame. If you ask me,
Yeah.
but hey.
But do you think it's important that players get in, or is it more important for the playoffs? Like, does it really matter? Or is it like, no, I think the focus should be more on the playoffs?
Well, definitely the playoffs, but it's just a nice little, added, incentive, but definitely, the playoffs. What Joe
Yeah.
Curry said?
He said, I actually don't want any Knicks in the All Star game. I want them home and resting. The All Star game is a dog and pony show. And it's quite boring, actually.
No, it is, and yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree with that, and at the same time, I would like, just because it's a part of the fans, the media, the coaches. So, it's a combination of both. I agree with Joe, then at the same time, so I'm like a 50-50. You
Hmm.
know. He's not gonna. A lot of they don't get too much burn. It's just like I said. So like I said, it's a pony show.
Yeah, it's just not the same either. Like, I feel like the All Star game is not the
Oh, from
same as it
years
used to be.
past. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
like the dunk
Definitely.
contest is trash. It's just not that good. But yeah, Brunson does have the one of the best footwork in the league. And I just think that like to me, he's a better player than Trey Young. So
Yeah.
I don't and I think it's part of what you were saying too, like with social media, who has more followers and things that affects players getting voted in as well. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the Knicks are currently in fourth. Gerard said our first round matchup will be against the 7th seed. Yeah, I said it. I like the confidence. We will see what the Knicks do. You said you got the Knicks at 4-0. I got them at 3-1. We will be back for post game coverage, or at least I will, if Diva Locks can join me after Monday's game against Charlotte, and then they play again back to back, so on Tuesday. But yeah, I am looking forward to the game. Anything else for you before we get out of here?
No, I'm just I'm looking for that next 4 games. They like I said, they have one on the road and they come back and play 3 at home. So they have a nice home stretch for this week and the following week. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they, hold their own and see what's the update for Randall. So definitely wishing him, nothing but healing energy and to get better. And as I know the chat is as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Brunson is definitely a better player than Trey Young.
Yeah, it
I know
is.
even you were saying like how did Damian Lillard get voted in over Brunson, which is crazy.
Larry.
Yeah, it's just a popularity and favoritism thing. Yeah, the All Star game isn't good anymore. Remember when Sims was in a dunk contest and it was
Oh
so
yeah.
boring? I turned it off. I went to watch a movie on Netflix. Why would you even join that? Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at, Boulevard 73. I'm my eyes is on the prize. I need the Knicks to win and go further. It's time for change. The Knicks have been making change. They're bringing the right pieces in place, and my faith is in the front office that they're making smarter decisions. And if they're gonna not make a trade before the February trade deadline, we know that something, a phase two of changes is coming. So either way, I think that but I would like some kind of mid mid change to happen before we go into the postseason, just because I think that for the Knicks to have a better chance, to be a strong contender, we do need someone in. But my eye is definitely on the prize as far as the championship go. He said Netflix and chill. Yeah, that's what some people do. They're not even gonna watch the All-Star games. Yeah, then I think all of us Knicks fans in the community could agree. The Knicks haven't won a championship since '73, and we're all so hungry and thirsty for them to win and to be, I could you the New York is gonna be crazy if the Knicks win. Like
Yeah.
I'll be at the parade if they win.
Oh, definitely.
There's no
Definitely.
hesitation. Like I'm gonna be there, but I just think that it's gonna feel so good to see the Knicks. Even for me, if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's still a success, and I won't be as disappointed because it just shows that they're inching closer and closer to where they need to go. Like Milwaukee, like you said, they're beatable, and Doc's teams choke. They make it to the playoffs. His teams make the playoffs, but they don't
The
get
two of
to.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So just because you brought in Doc Rivers doesn't mean that your defense is going to turn up. But yeah, Sims was trash. He was terrible. I don't even know who convinced him. I think they were at a shortage of dunkers in the participation area, and they probably asked him, and he said, "I'll do it." And some guys on the team probably hyped him up, but it was very basic. It was like me trying to go out there and dunk. I can't reach the rim, but it was just nothing entertaining about it. But salute to the chat. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Ajay, Eddie C, Wonder Woman, Johnny Davis. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, Johnny. We bring very real, raw content, pre and post game coverage. And we're also on a women's monthly panel with Stephanie, aka Queen on Dope Soul Knicks and Sports Talk. Shout out to her and the whole Nothing But Knicks family. A Negro One. Shout out to Joe Curry. Nick Yak, salute to you. I don't even think that I put your comment up. I didn't even see you because you snuck in there. Cotton Candy, salute to you. Boulevard 73, to die for, salute to you as well. I said Boulevard 73. I'm going to say it again. Deraz, salute to you for joining us. Corey Lee, definitely salute to you. Appreciate the love from everybody. I think that's everybody today.
True and Living just came in.
Oh, we just got a new person came in. Oh,
Yeah.
True and Living. Salute, True and Living. If you're
Salute.
new here, we haven't seen you, subscribe to the channel. And everybody hit that like button too. The like button and the subscribe button is both free. They don't cost anything. It just helps us get in the algorithm. We don't do this for likes or subscriptions. We are trying to get our subscribers up, but nonetheless, we just truly love the Knicks and we love talking all things New York Knicks. And in the summertime, we do talk about the New York Liberty and we go over their season. So it's a lot of fun, full of information. Whenever we follow the trades, we follow it all. Like even when we're not on here, we're texting each other links and things of that nature because we truly love the game of basketball and we've been Knicks fans for forever. And I became a Knicks fan because of Diva Locks. So yeah, if you love the content, keep supporting us, and we appreciate you guys in the replay gang as well. Those of you who come in and watch us, we appreciate you watching the videos, and those of you who leave us comments, we do respond to all comments. Actually, there's one that I wanted to respond back to. I think Diva Locks had liked it, but it was on the Jalen Brunson post. I think the Knicks lack depth, like 2 videos ago that I had posted, and I saw someone wrote us a comment. So again, shout out to everybody who just shows loves and shows up. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Until next time, as we always say, peace. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell your cousin about us. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Peace.